And when I go to Doha and Cairo, my goal will be to put us in a position to be able to close this deal this month, not later. Now, we've been close before and haven't gotten there, so I can't make any promises or predictions to you. But I wouldn't be here today if I thought this thing was just waiting till after January 20th. I am here today because I believe every day matters, and we are going to use every day we have to try to close the deal as soon as we possibly can.
That is National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in Jerusalem yesterday, commenting after a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ahead of trips to Qatar and Egypt as the Biden administration continues to push hard for a ceasefire and a hostage release deal in Gaza. Joining us now is Ruby Hen. He is the father of Itai Hen, a 19-year-old American member of the IDF who was serving on the border of Gaza on October 7th. 2023. Mr. Hen, we so appreciate your time with us today. I'm curious what you think, because you've heard in fits and starts these talks of ceasefire deals and the potential return of hostages as a part of that deal. What do you make of these latest developments?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, Willie. And just connecting to the previous segment about Chuck, after 50 years, he will probably most likely remember. You see here, these are the number of days, when in 1979, there was that small box that Walter Cronkite and others would put about the number of days of U.S. hostages being held in Iran. So we, the families, have adopted that to remember everybody that it's been 434 days since the last time that I spoke to my son, as well as 99 other families as well. To your question, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
To your question, yes, we, the U.S. families, met Mr. Sullivan this week, as well as also meeting Mr. Waltz in a public meeting that we had in Congress with him as the incoming NSA director. And what we got after a long time is hope. And I would also add to that the social media statement of President-elect Trump, speaking very forcefully about the need and demand that hostages come out by January 20th. And I think the only possible outcome that we expect, and the expected outcome after the social media statement of President-elect Trump, is that the 7 U.S. citizens must come out in the first phase of the deal by January 20th. And these are the 7 U.S. citizens, Willie. These are the faces of U.S. citizens that must come out in the first phase of the deal. It's been too long that we've been waiting.
Ruby, I'm so glad you're showing those photographs. It's important to continue to remind people the hostages are not numbers, they're not statistics, they're not negotiating pawns, they are people. So if you could pause for a moment here with us and tell us about your son, Itai.
So first, let me just name the 7 U.S. citizens. There's Omer, there's Zidan, there's Keith, there's Judy, there's Gadi, there's Sagi, and my son Itai. We are New Yorkers, family now watching in Long Island, the show, as they typically do every day. And we moved to Israel a few years back, and at the age of 18, my son Itai could have gone to college in the States, but he decided to join the IDF and protecting the values of the state of Israel, but also values of the United States as well, and the Western countries. And there was a ceasefire in place. They were ambushed, they fought, they protected civilians as much as they can, and they were just outnumbered. And he was taken 434 days ago. It's been a year, Willie, since the last time that hostages came out in a deal. And it's about time that we end this misery and this tragedy to the families, and stating again, the demand from the U.S. families, from Jake Sullivan, and from Congressman Waltz when he gets into office, is to make sure that the teams work together, the incoming and the outgoing administration, to get a deal done and not wait to see what happens to the tweet that President-elect Trump talked about, that hell will be paid if those U.S. citizens do not come out.
Ruby, it's a sign of the commitment that all the families have made together. The first thing you do when we ask about Itai is you hold up a picture of all of the American hostages who are being held, and you know all of their names. You want all of them to be remembered. When you're back in Israel, is that sense of solidarity between the hostage families. How is it holding up, and how much pressure do you think you're able to have on the Israeli government because you are all standing together?
I think that's a very important point of the unity. When we come to the United States, we meet Jake Sullivan, and as we met the president multiple times and the vice president, we speak on behalf of the 100 hostages. We do not ask who comes out first. We ask, how does the last one come out? And anyone that has dealt with negotiations with terrorists know that you pay for the last one or the last 5 as much as you paid for the previous 95. So it is impairment that all the hostages have a mechanism to come out. They do not need to come out on the same day, but there needs to be a mechanism for these hostages to come out. These American citizens come from the different categories, and they do not fit into one piece of the framework. As such, the assumption is if all the Americans come out, that means the other 93 hostages will come out as well.
Well, we share your deep, sincere hope that this ceasefire deal and this hostage release deal is real, that it's coming, and that those hostages will be returned to their families. Ruby Henn, father of Itai Henn, a 19-year-old American member of the IDF, thank you for joining us this morning.
If
and
I
thank
could
you for your
just
continued
say
attention.
one more small thing. Hanukkah is coming up as well as Christmas. We're asking the United States people, public opinion, to pray for us and our families. We've had too many holidays, too many anniversaries with an empty chair at our table. Please pray with us in order to let us have our miracle and be whole again as a family, even before Christmas, and not need to wait till January 20th.
You have the prayers of the country, Ruby.